Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of Banter Blitz. This is number 49. Feels like more, doesn't it? At least according to my count, which is not very accurate, it's number 49. So we can just wing it and I'm gonna have to do well for show number 50. You know the format. You challenge me to a game of 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Click on my username, which is Jan on chess24. There should be something, or hover over it. There should be something that says challenge me. Me in that case being me, Jan. And then you challenge me to a chess game. We will play a chess game if I decide to play against you. If you are a premium member on chess24.com, and I shall crush you and talk about it while I do it. I'm in a very passive-aggressive mood today, which probably means that I'll be more condescending in my remarks and more passive in my play. Not sure. Did that work? That's why they pay me the big bucks. Like jokes like this is really the foundation that Chess24 is built on. I've been busy, I've been criticized in the last video because I read every comment and take them to heart. No matter where you do it, I'll track it down. I get these constant Google alerts. Even if if somebody writes about Jan, I get a Google alert. Because I do think I'm the most famous Jan out there. So what was I criticized for? Yeah, that I lost my love for chess. Not sure if that's the case. I just feel like I'm getting old and dumb. Oh, but I did checkmate Claudia here. This was my test game against Claudia. I played chess this weekend in Bundesliga. Didn't do well. Won one game. Not a very convincing game. And drew one game against much lower rated opposition. So nothing to write home about. If we can still use that expression, I don't think people write much anymore. And that's also why I'm so tired. Because I'm moving homes. On Thursday is my big move and I've been going nuts like furniture shopping and changing internet contracts and arguing what chairs to get. You know how it is. You bleed a lot of money and time and you lose all your sense for rambling. Okay, this has been another great introduction, which I'm sure everybody's still tuned to their seats. No one has switched channels because there's no other show on Chess24 right now. So let's play some chess. And I clicked on the first name I could find, which is You in Trouble. But I clicked on it because I thought it was you with an extra R. I thought it would be You Are in Trouble or You're in Trouble, which I thought was humorous. But that's not the case. So I'm playing You in Trouble from Canada. Big chess country, Canada. Who would have thought? They were in the gold medal match in the last Olympiad with some reinforcements. Like this guy, what's his name? Anton Kovalyov, I hear, is crushing everybody. Yevgeny Bareyev, former Russian world-class player, is playing for Canada. And the chess bra himself, Mr. Eric Hansen, is getting stronger by the minute. Or so I'm told. I don't really have evidence for that claim. Therefore, Canada, maybe a chess power in the future. Like, right now, they're becoming a basketball power. These Canadians, they're expanding. It's not just hockey. All kinds of other things. Anyway, we do have the Nimzo Indian for f3, one of the sharpest, most critical lines. Many options here, c5, d5, and castle. In my hopefully one day upcoming video series on the Nimzo, currently I'm leaning towards the move for c5. But castle is a move I played when I was a much younger man than today, when I didn't have these. I don't know. Before I started doing Botox. So f3 castles, e4 or a3 are the two main lines. You in Trouble plays e3, which looks a little passive, combined with the move f3. Why not go all the way? And to me it looks like a logical way to fight against this e3 move would be to go to c5. d5 was just as logical, in fairness. But c5 struck me as a logical move. Maybe d5 was better because my point was he can't go d5 so well because the pawn on d5 is not connected, but he can go a3. And now if I take, let's say b6, e4, I'm not sure who's gained more. He's lost the tempo with his e-pawn, but I have castle, which is not always ideal in these positions if you get pinned with bishop g5. Still, tempo is a tempo. The standard plan for black in such positions is attack the c4 pawn by bishop a6, knight c6, knight a5, rook c8 or queen c8 if needed, and then eat it before getting checkmated, ideally. Let me see the chat for a second, if people can watch this show and hear me, because sometimes I just go on yada 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 and no one could see or understand all these insights I'm dropping. So let me know if you can't see this stuff. What can I tell you? What's going on in my life? So I bought a dining table yesterday. Then I decided I didn't really like it. Bought a new dining table today and hope I can return the old dining table. That's the kind of long-term grandmasterly planning that I'm executing at the moment. Queen e2, rook c8. I could go queen c8, but it's the rough outline of the plan I mentioned is still valid. I want to take this pawn. And normally white should be a little further in his checkmating attempts with like e4, bishop g5 to gain compensation for it, because now it's going to be very hard to defend Mr. c4, and you in trouble might live up to his name. If his name means that he's in trouble, not that he wants to put me in trouble, because I took one of his pawns. And as we all know, for one pawn, I will be ready to abandon any strategic principle I've been talking about during the show. Pawn is a pawn, and here he does not have all that much compensation. I have a nice square for my knight on c4. This bishop is not doing all that much. I don't like bishop b2 actually. And yeah, what can I tell you? Black is better. Now, the long-term attack that white sometimes has in these structures, e4, e5, f4, f5, does seem a little far-fetched. Therefore, I might be well on my way to a victory over you in trouble, who I only, no more whom I only outrate. By the way, please stop explaining the whom grammar to me. It's not a grammar question at this point anymore, but more a stylistic question. Because sometimes I still, as I just did, mix in these whoms, but I'm committed to just going who. No whom in any situation. You in trouble is running into more and more trouble, because now there's a nice little juicy square on e4 here. And if I manage to exchange one of my horses for this guy and have the other one on e4, then we will have a so-called good knight, bad bishop situation. This is what's happening here. f5. I'll just take it. All my pieces are superior than their counterparts. Is that fair? Yeah, I think both of my rooks are doing better. Yeah. What can I tell you? I'm winning. Yay me. Goshkov. I'm reading the chat now, and Goshkov is getting to the root of the problem. Jan, you're losing your level playing these banters with weak players. I don't know, that's the main problem. I think it's more lack of practice and lack of time spent studying chess. But look at this gigantic grandmaster level I'm displaying with rook takes e1 check. Picking up the f5 rook. And you in trouble does resign. Thanks for the game. You in trouble. What is this? How likely are you to recommend Windows 10 to a friend or colleague? I don't know. I haven't given it much thought, but thanks for asking, Windows 10. Probably I'd recommend it to a friend or colleague. Probably most colleagues use it anyway, because I'm pretty sure it's on these computers. Who shall we play next? A lot of challenges. Always great to see that. What about Mark Users from Ethiopia? I'm always happy if I can play somebody from a country where I think I've never played anybody. I can't recall ever having played anybody from Ethiopia. So let's crush Mark Users to build a... I'd lack the words for what I'm trying to say. Oh, I should probably let you guys partake in what's going on here. We are playing a so-called d4, knight f6, knight c3, d5, bishop f4. What do they call this? Verisov? I don't know. It's one of these hybrid London... I think it's called the Verisov. But it's become a little more... Well, trendy is too much, but... It's been played a bit more, thanks to the efforts of people like Badur Jobava and... So maybe even, did Carlsen play this? I have a feeling Carlsen might have played this. I always like this move, a6, in these positions, if I can make time for it, just stopping any knight b5 inconvenience. And after knight f3, knight c6 looks logical, but then knight e5, I'm not 100% sure what's going on. So I actually prefer going bishop g4, taking this knight, one of the rare cases where I'm alright giving up my bishop for a knight. And then put the knight here, because now I believe, yeah, this knight is a little awkward on c3, has to be regrouped. This bishop isn't doing all that much over here. And overall, I quite like my position. Can I go bishop d6? This is the question that I've been contemplating while talking. If knight takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop f4. So that'd be good news. Yeah, that's all the info I need, really. If bishop d5, also bishop f4, so it doesn't lose a pawn, then strategically I'd be fine exchanging these bishops. White probably shouldn't do it, but go bishop g5. When I might get greedy, nah, I wouldn't get greedy. Too early for queen b6 because of bishop f6 and knight d5. Bishop e5 is also a legal move. That I did not expect. I'll just castle then. Now I might be threatening to go bishop e5, de, knight d7. Didn't feel good to do it instantly, maybe. Then he could have gone for some bishop takes d5, ed, e6 or some madness. Didn't feel like I should encourage that. But now with my king safely tucked away, I can go after this pawn. And this pawn shall not have a long lifespan. Queen c7, does bishop d5 bother me? That's why my instinct, my grandmasterly instinct, said queen b8 to pick up this pawn without running into any bishop d5. But maybe queen c7 and thinking for a second would have been the better way, because the queen on b8 does look a little funny. Still, this pawn is not gonna be with us for much longer. He still goes bishop d5, but now this should not work at all, should it? That was my point in going queen b8. Didn't want to allow this. Can I just take? I don't know. Could also take with the other horse. Take here, knight b6. Does that bother me? Doesn't bother me all that much. Don't concern me all that much. What's that? Natalie Imbruglia? So what's going on? Marcuzos is going to try to checkmate me. But I will not let that happen, because I'm reasonably good with an extra piece normally. It's one of my stronger suits. I'm a little tempted, but it's not a good idea, after rook g3, which he will play, to go queen takes d5. With a funny material distribution. But I shouldn't do it. I should instead speed up just a little bit in order to avoid losing on time and try to convert my extra piece. Sound of silence. Am I blundering? Not yet, but I'm very close to Blunderville. That's my focused face. Is he thinking? It's flagging time. What's all the thinking? One should never think during flagging time. Get your thinking in before. Now it's Flagville. And Marcuzes resigns. Rook g6, knight g6, covering the e7 square. I had this usual moment where I panicked a little when I saw I was down to 34 seconds. But all's well that ends well. Oh, thanks for warning me about the clock, guys. I did realize it in time. I was close. I could easily have realized it with like 8 seconds left. Probably not 8, because normally I can't tell once the clock starts moving faster. Let's play against our old friend, Fierce Grace, whom I did it again, I said who I recently played in the Thailand Open. Not that recently, but that's the only tournament I play, apart from Bundesliga. The good old Thailand Open, knight c3, not a great move in this position, but I know my man Fierce Grace, he always wants like to build up some sharp Leningrad style position, so I'm trying to confuse him by going for some early shenanigans with his knight f3, knight c3. d4, f5, knight c3 is a pretty good line, but with the knight already out on f3, it might have a little less bite, not sure. Still, how bad can it be? My plan is e3, bishop d3, knight e2, c4, and win somehow. After knight f4, but after knight e4, I might have to change that game plan a little bit. Do we want to go e3? No, then he could take and... Then he could take and go e5. I didn't like that. e3, knight g5, knight g5, e5. Might have been bad, but I did not want to allow it. Now the question is, after e6, can I go e3? Or does bishop b4 bother me? I believe it bothers me. So once again, I'm going to have to change plans. I'm changing plans an awful lot over the first like 3 moves of this game, which normally is not a great idea. I did see that he can't go g5 because of e3, gf4, queen h5, check. But of course he can go knight d7. And after e3 he's going to take probably. And I'm not sure if I have any significant advantage here. I should be a little better, maybe. Because, I don't know, because I deserve to be a little better. But I'm not sure if it's much. Still, some ideas. Queen h5 check might be nasty if it was my move. Queen h5, g6, queen h3 would be a problem. I can easily develop bishop c4. So, don't mind my position all that much. Queen e7. That's not really a developing move, but does it stop? It does stop my plan of queen h5 and my plan of bishop c4. Stops all my ideas. Why are you so mean, Mr. Grace? I'm gonna need new ideas. Bishop c4 no good because of queen b4 check, in case you were wondering. I don't know. I'm a one-trick pony. If I can't get in my core idea, I'm stuck. I'll just stop this check so I don't have to worry about it in the future. Rook g8. Whoa. Don't know what that's about. It indicates, however, that he wants to probably castle towards this side of the board, and I'll try to make that a little harder by going queen b3. I guess g6, bishop g7 is also part of the plan. But don't concern me all that much. Still, how to punish Fierce Grace for his many sins? I'll provoke c6. Not sure if that helps me at all, but I felt like provoking it. And I am not very good at resisting my urges, so might as well. Also not sure if I should exchange these bishops or keep them on the board. You could certainly make a case for both, but I'll keep them on the board, just because. Should still be better, but with only bishops on the board, it's not going to be so easy to break through. It's going to depend a little bit where he puts his king to. If it's going to be on f7 or if he just leaves it there. h5, alright. h4 or h3, or none of the above. Maybe h4. h4 has the drawback that it's going to be a little harder to castle king side, but I can castle queen side. b5, Fierce Grace. Very aggressive player, as we know, but it does also create more weaknesses in his camp, which hopefully I can exploit some point down the stretch. Now this king has committed to f7. I'll try to open things up in the center around Mr. King here. And king g7, well, a good strategic idea, does have a little tactical drawback. And they don't call me Miss Tactics for nothing. I don't miss these things. Piece is a piece, fierce grace. Let's go home. He still needs some added incentive to resign, but I have a feeling this game will not last much longer. There we go. Fierce Grace resigns. Yeah, mainly, well, I was better for a while, but of course, king g7 was a big blunder, allowing e5. Game over. Let's see if we can find another opponent for a friendly game of chess, because this is what this really is. No one will be upset except me, no matter what the outcome. Does that make any sense? Nah. What about Edward Cantillano from Honduras? Not sure. I've played somebody from Honduras. Probably I have. I have a feeling I've played somebody from Honduras, but I've never played Edward Cantillano. So welcome, Edward. E4, c5. How do you feel about the c3 Sicilian, the Alapin? Can't. Do I say I'm not a big expert on this about every opening I play? I probably do. I am a massive expert on the Alapin. Bishop e2 is the old main line, but dc5 got trendy at some point. 20 years ago maybe. People played e5, b4, e4 here with a very unbalanced position. Well, e6 doesn't put as much pressure on me, so I will certainly try to hang on to Mr. Extra Pawn. Not so sure if h3 is the way to go here. I have a feeling it might not be the way to go. After bishop f5, now I can develop with a little more certainty. Develop with more certainty. Yeah. And for black, it's still not obvious how he gets his pawn back. Unless he takes on b1 and then takes on a2. Then he would have his pawn back, but I would have a nice position. In fact, I do not consider that enough of a threat to stop it by going knight c3. I want to go rook d1 and stop him from castling, because now d7 would be en prise. Show e4, what's the idea? To go to c6? Probably it's to go to c6. Which is fair in a sense that it might allow him to castle, but also allows me to increase my lead in development and stay a healthy pawn ahead, up. Therefore, can't complain too much. The stream very stop-start, which is very unusual tonight. What are you talking about? Stream problems? I don't like stream problems mid-stream, because they always stop me from focusing 100% on the game of chess. Rook c8, best move. I'll push this dude. Why not push Anton the a-pawn? Knight d5 shall be taken. Are they doing new Taken movies? Or are we done? I'm not sure I've seen Taken 3. I heard it wasn't very good. Knight b8 wasn't very good either, because now Anton the a-pawn is pretty much unstoppable. And yeah, Edward Cantillano has to give a piece to deal with him, but a piece is a piece. And as mentioned, I'm very much at peace with an extra piece. Kind of forgot about the clock again. Didn't really matter. This is a full point against Edward. Thanks, Edward. Kramnik's student has problems with streaming, but it has nothing to do with Chess24. Good to hear that. You never know. I don't know these things. What connection am I on? Don't know that either. Let's play Mr. Robert Piezo or Robert Piezo. Which pawn to move? Maybe the c pawn. Not my favorite pawn because it allows him to go e5, occupying lots of space in the center. But he only goes e6, and now the c4 move has done its job, transposing into a 1 d4 opening, which I do not dislike as strongly as all the other d4 openings. Oh, I think Robert Piezo was an expert on all these things. Queen's Gambit, if I remember correctly. Let's see what he has in store for us. What do you do here? Queen c2, I would guess, is the way to go. And probably he plays one of these knight bd7, knight h5 lines. We shall find out. I know he goes bishop g4. I've played bishop g4 myself. Against... Who did I play it against? Against... who was it? Lambda. 92, obviously, not the only move, but one plausible move to meet bishop h5 with knight f4. Another line that is surprisingly challenging is to just go bishop d3 and develop pieces. I thought white might be a little bit better there, but I like the idea of bishop g4 to maneuver this quote-unquote bad bishop to g6, which is why I played it myself, and I got, I equalized reasonably easily against Lambda in that game, so I didn't mind it. It's a decent move. Knight d7 is sort of challenging me to go knight g3 or knight f4 and try to prove this bishop doesn't have any nice place to go from here. Not sure if knight f4 is correct, because maybe there's some knight h5 for some nasty business. Yeah, he goes knight h5. Should have maybe thought about that before committing. Such is life. I'll play h3, try to pretend this was all long-term plan, so I could get this bishop and change the structure and whatever. It wasn't a long-term plan at all. Gimme. Knight d4. Cheeky. Still. Takes. Can you go knight d4? I'm not so sure. Not so sure, my dear boy. Sorry about the my dear boy part. It's not meant as an offense at all. I've been listening to too much Comedy Bang Bang and Andrew Lloyd Webber, played by one of my favorites, Paul F. Tompkins. It's one of Paul F. Tompkins' characters. I'm aware no one knows what I'm talking about, but that's okay. He likes to say dear boy. And it's very, very addictive to call people dear boy. He does take. Queen g7, knight c2 is not what I want. Maybe in this position is not what I wanted. Queen h8, knight f8, and there's no way through. And I've been slow again, so time to speed up, but not happy with how this went. Yep, things have not gone well, or according to plan, if there ever was one. But now we come to my favorite part, the mindlessly speeding up part. Do you want to win my queen? You might want to win my queen. Not a very nice character trait to go after other people's queen. But can I blame him? I don't know if I can. Can't do this? I really want to do this, but I can't. King a8, rook d5, but it doesn't really work. Instead, let's play an equal endgame and hope for the best. Triumphant equal endgame music playing. Very unfair to centralize your king. Probably my usual endgame pawn blundering skills converted this endgame that started as equal into a worse endgame. Why do I do these things to myself? And why do I do them so slowly? So frustrating to be me. Expert flagging, ladies and gentlemen. Lot to be learned here. But very good game by Robert Piezo. Not a terrible game by yours truly, until I missed knight c4, which I shouldn't have. Maybe g5. Well, yeah. Not impressive. Good game by Robert Piezo. What can I tell you, dear boys? Okay, time to play a newbie. It's newbie time. Who have I never played? What about Naso? Doesn't look like I ever played Naso. I'm scared of people that have a 1500 rating. As I've explained many times, it might be the first game ever on the site, and they might be world champion of chess. World chess champion. Kind of unlikely he is the actual world chess champion. But you never know what you're gonna get with these 1500s. And no, I'm not gonna make a Forrest Gump reference at this point. Too low-hanging fruit. Naso's not there though. Daredevil. If you don't pronounce the TH as us Germans do, then der and der are the same word. Naso, we're gonna have to start the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and abort, dear boy. I'm so sorry. Is there somebody else out there? Some new victim? Some fresh blood? Mr. Brandmeister? Here is Mr. Brandmeister. I do not know what voices I'm speaking in. No one's here. Where are you at, Brandmeister? Might just be a show of me waiting for people to make a move, but then they do not show up. Brandmeister, dear boy. Ah, there he is, just as I was getting ready to board. He goes d4. I'll go knight f6. This game I'll explain the strategic chess aspects behind it. I will play the daring King's Indian defense. Not my favorite opening because it gives up a lot of space in the center. But it's very hard for white to keep everything under control, as I've learned from many painful experiences. And it does tend to lead to very unbalanced positions. We will see what the Brandmeister has in store here. e5 is the main line. He goes for the main line as well. Castle, knight c6, d5, knight e7. Of course, countless games have been played here with great successes for both sides. Brandmeister plays one of the classical lines, knight e1, followed by either bishop e3 or knight d3. Knight d3, f5, bishop d2 is one big main line here. Bishop e3, f5, f3, Korchnoi favorite line, also a good line. And he starts with f3, which makes a lot of sense as well. I have to admit, my lack of King's Indian expertise might be shining through here. Not sure if people start with f4 or if they go for something like I'm doing here, king h8, knight g8, bishop h6, which looks like sensible maneuvering to me. I didn't want to put this knight on f6 immediately, because then c5 might be a bit of an issue. But if this is a theoretical plan here, I am not so sure. For all your King's Indian endeavors, I recommend Mr. Dear Boy Robin Van Kempen's video series here on Chess24. It's a very good video series, which when I watched it, I learned a lot from. Forgot most of it, as we can see by this game, but that's not Robin's fault, but the fault of my amnesia. Amnesia? Amnesia is, I always lose, I always confuse amnesia and insomnia. Amnesia is the stuff where you lose your memory, and insomnia is the stuff where you can't sleep, right? Anyway, we've achieved some strategic goals, or I do hope so. I have exchanged these bishops, and I've opened the A file for my rook, but Brandmeister, the Brandmeister general, has also achieved some things, like made progress developing, and he's now ready to go c4, c5, which I don't want him to do. If I go knight f6, knight gf6, let's say, he would play c5, and I'm not sure what my plan would look like. Of course I can go for the cavemanish King's Indian attack here, but I'm not so sure this is promising for me. I doubt it, actually. Still, you get what you ask for. Do you? Not so sure about that either. Why is Brandmeister so strong? You're 1800. You're supposed to be crushed by my grandmasterly crushingness. Sometimes people just don't accept that verdict. He's pretty much outplaying me so far by making more progress on the queen side than I am making on the king side. However, the game is far from over. I have not lost material on the queen side yet, which probably a qualified King's Indian player would be a couple pawns down here. And in return would have gotten in g5, knight f6, g4, some counter-attack. Je ne sais pas. Brandmeister is playing well, that's my main takeaway. And I don't like it when people play well. Don't like it one bit. C1. Any threats? Do you want to go c6? Nah, even c6. I don't mind. If there's a problem that we can't fix, it's not that he plays c6. Yeah, I'm a very gifted freestyle rapper, in case you ever wondered about that. Probably did, didn't you? Brandmeister is trying, slightly awkwardly, no offense, my dear boy, to make progress on the queen side. It hasn't made all that much progress. Well, my progress on the king side is also limited. Then again, I've kept the queen side under control, and now g4 shall be played, which will hopefully strike a lot of fear in his heart. Not sure it does. It threatens anything at all. But I always get nervous when people g4 me in King's Indians. 96, fair enough, it's a nice little square. But still not a lot of threats. So I'll put my rook in attacking position on the g file. It's a very Jan Gustafsson-like King's Indian, trying not to lose a pawn on the queen side. And then hopefully something will happen with the two resources that are dedicated to the other side of the board. Knight c4, queen f2, can we do? Then bishop d1. Maybe queen h4, maybe something good will happen, maybe not. Who the heck, not hell, I'm not gonna say that word. Who the heck knows such things? Reading the chat. Has J96 says, Jan, what do you think of the bayonet attack in the King's Indian? That's one fully fledged mainline. I think it's still popular. At least I have not been informed elsewise otherwise. So yeah, it's a fine opening. The bayonet. That's 9b4 instead of 9 knight e1. If mistaken, I am not. G3, h3, is there any mating around? Doesn't look like. No, let's keep more fluidity in the position. Remember the old days of Banter Blitz when I was trying to articulate thoughts and speak half proper English? Me neither. How can I checkmate Brandmeister? I really would like to checkmate you. It's not for lack of wanting to checkmate him. It's for lack of attacking flow, prowess. G3, h3, I don't see the checkmate. Gf, gf, I also don't see the checkmate. That's what we're working with here. current train of thought is GF, GF, knight h5, and hope for the best. That is pretty much it. Knight d7, knight g3, and something good should somehow happen. But knight h5, bishop g2, and we're back to hoping for the best. I'll make some move, but not sure if anything will come out of it. Also, I'm very worried about some knight f7 check. Not likely to happen, but who knows. I was winning on the spot? Possibly. Bishop g2 is the clue. I'll keep this bishop alive for now. Maybe knight g3 was good, but I didn't see a follow-up after king g1. Hence, I went here. Striking fear in Brandmeister's heart, who's been playing a very good game, as mentioned. But now... I could give a check and another check. And see if that gets us anywhere. Apologies for all... Why apologies? Apologies to myself and to chess. Sometimes you gotta apologize to chess as well, when crimes are committed against it. If I'm missing some easier wins here, but I saw a double attack. Attack and attack. Also this is under attack. So a lot of things are under attack. Queen f1, I could go knight g3, but I could also take here. Sort of a slow burn, like that TV show Bloodline. Who has time for a slow burn these days? The end is near. Brandmeister played well. I have limited King's Indian experience, at the very least from the black side, so can't say if I played well. But it's easier to look smart when you outrate your opponent by more than 1,000 points. Interesting game though. Any other noobs? I always like playing against new dudes or ladies. I'm just operating under the assumption that the people watching or partaking in this program are 98% male. However, correct me if that assumption is wrong. It's only 96%. d4, knight f6, knight f3. d5, g6, e6, c5. I don't know. Where's Daniel Carvajal from? He's from Costa Rica. Costa Rica means d5. It's probably a good move. And in case you're wondering if that made any sense, no. He does play the London system, as people do. c3 here, queen b6, queen b3 is the main line. That's it's a little Dulsville. Hence, I'll play this. I'm not sure if there's anything wrong with this. Queen b3 would look like the critical test whenever this bishop moves out of his pawn chain. The question is, can it be punished by targeting b7? And if not, then I'd much rather have this bishop out of his shell and Daniel Carvajal out of his comfort zone than the other way around. Of course the position is equal, but this is a structure after ed which he should play that I'm quite comfortable with. The good old Karlsbad structure, where I can do my favorite thing in the world, the minority attack. He goes queen b1, actually an interesting move. He's trying to get a knight e5, but he's dealing with a seasoned pro who's not going to allow him to do that. Nah, not a seasoned pro, just seasoned. Bishop h4, didn't see that coming. Probably a good move too. What are you doing to me, Daniel? I just praised myself for my deep insight stopping knight e5 and I missed bishop h4. It's just a bit painful because he's threatening bishop f6 followed by bishop h7 check. Not ideal, let's say. Okay, I'll go get out the way. Life be tough. I'm reading the chat. Mr. M. Hansen is always very eager to correct pronunciation mistakes. Yeah, I'm not a native speaker. Sorry, man. But, it's not the biggest problem this show has, my level of English. There's way bigger problems in many other areas. However, h3 takes, knight takes. I don't like my position. I have to find a way out. Oh, showing off Zwischenzugs. Bishop f3, bishop f6. Don't overdo it, Danielle. Possibly a good move too. Bishop g2 looks very scary because then he can go bishop g7, king g7, rook g1, which might not be winning, but I don't like it much. So I'll take it instead. Still don't like it much though. Yep, not a great position. Daniel Carvajal has been playing some very interesting moves. We've both played slowly, but this time I realized this fact when I still had 50 seconds, which is much better than later. Okay, this is an invitation I cannot decline. No idea if it works, but it had to be done so that we could have fun. Oh, he takes me at my word. Time to speed up a little bit, but I kind of like my position now. Feels like his king is weaker than my king in this situation, but I should avoid getting checkmated with some queen h5 business. So maybe f5 is appropriate. Whatever. Can I play even slower? Feels like he's playing super slowly, but somehow the clock does not tell that story. Ooh, terrible, terrible move. But it's time to speed up. Queen h7. Tempting. Yeah, big time trouble there. Moby's saying, where's Pepe? I'm not sure where Pepe is. I think he's somewhere in Spain, but he's gonna be back. He's gonna be doing stuff. Don't you worry. We will never let him go. What time is it? Still lots of time left. That tells you show's going great. If I start checking the clock and feel like, are we done for today? Oh no, we're only 50 minutes in. Tough decision to find new opponent. What about Mdrs from Israel, looks like. M. Hansen, very active. Not fixing my English anymore. He's now investigating Stranger Things. Yeah, I did finish season 1 of Stranger Things. Enjoyed it. Even though I'm slightly too young to, or I didn't watch enough TV in the 80s, not an age thing, to have all these 80s references and the Goonies flashbacks and stuff. So I still enjoyed it. It was a well done show. Looks like Mdrs is not here, but there he is. d4, d5. Knight f3. Normally I go c4. No particular reason to include knight f3 or not to include it. And let's play the main line. A6, interesting. The A6 Slav, or the Chebanenko Slav, as some people call it. My main move here is E3. Queen C2 is an interesting move that's on the rise. Queen B3 is possible, H3 is possible. Let's play H3 just because it looks funny. A4 is one of the main moves. H3 has a bit of a point, not sure how much. One point is normally after DC4, white can go A4, and it's still going to be hard for black to hang on to this extra pawn. Well, bishop F5 is kind of asking me to take action with takes and queen B3. Target this guy. Maybe I could have gone queen B3 instantly. Not sure which version was better. Now rook A7, this is a standard move in the Chebanenko. It's not bad, but I still have a feeling that including all this stuff, and apologies if I overuse the word stuff, favors me. He takes. Now my job is to open the position before black is fully developed. The question is, can I do that? Or is that not realistic? Queen A4 is a typical way to try to ask some questions. Not sure how many questions it does ask though. After Queen B6, have I achieved anything? One point of Queen A4 would be B5 I can take. Let's say Bishop B5 and Bishop E7, maybe there's Knight B5. But Queen B6 is making me pause a little here. Long castles? Not what you typically want in the exchange Slav structure to put your king on C1. It's a pretty terrible square. But still, Queen B6 loses so much time. There should be something. Maybe Bishop E2, Queen B2, short castles. Queen takes C3, Rook C1. I don't know. We'll think about it. I'll think about it when I get there. But that could be possible. I might do it. Queen B6, Bishop E2 takes short castles. That takes here, Rook C1. Queen B4, Rook C8 wins. Queen A3, Rook C8 also wins. He goes F6. Fair enough. I shall go away. Bishop G3 you can play without much thinking. It's better than F4 normally because it can't get hit with E5 or G5. And H2 is a little funny, potentially blocking this square for Her Majesty himself. Rook A8 makes a lot of sense actually. He's preparing B5 when I can no longer take. Of course, once again losing some time, but I'm not sure I can exploit that. At least I can't see how. Nah, I'm gonna switch to positional stuff. I should stop saying stuff, I guess. But yeah, I like my opening play. It's weird I didn't get more. I deserve more. Still, in these structures, very important not to allow him to establish a knight on C4. Therefore I have to tackle this grip instantly by going A4. After B4, I can either go A5, which looks interesting, and then knight C4 has to be calculated, or I can try to shuffle my knight back around, either to A2 or to B1, D2. Not sure. Probably I go B1, D2. BA surprises me, because now both of my rooks have well-paid jobs in the industry. Well, his rook, especially on F8, does not seem to contribute all that much. Rook B8, knight C5, he wants knight C4. I could just take on B6, of course, but that feels like cashing in too quickly. Not cashing in a whole lot. Still, don't say anything better. Time is running out. Take we shall. Threatening bishop c7, and maybe some things on a6. So still have a mild initiative here. This is standard exchange Slav excitement for all you exchange Slav heads out there. And I know you're out there. Another Pepe fan, St. Francis, asked, where is Pepe these days? I don't know, he's somewhere in the depth of Spain. Not exactly sure where, but don't you worry, he's gonna be back. We will not let Mr. Cuenca go. Can't take. Takes. Bishop a6, bishop g3, f3, queen d6. Not sure. Not sure I've achieved what I dreamt of here, frankly. Man, I should stop staring at the position and instead make moves. Probably not this move, but some moves. Yep, got nothing. Yay me. Still hoping to have a micro edge because of the weakness of his 7th and 8th rank, but I am not sure how much it is. Sometimes you can also argue that this bishop is not doing great at contributing towards the battle on the queen side, but a lot of it might be wishful thinking on my part. So far, Mdrs is defending very well, and I do not have many reasons to claim anything here. Rook db6, for example. Not sure how to proceed. Probably I'd go bishop f1, but I wouldn't be sure. But I'd do it. With uncertainty, however. And now, let's go here. Hoping for bishop d3, rook c8 check. Sometimes your wishes do come true, because this is not just check, it does end the game. Interesting game. I hope I kept a micro initiative throughout, but I'm not at all certain. And apparently I missed something. That is very possible. I miss lots of things all the time. It's a little sad. It's not really getting better. I would like to admit it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. That's not true. Let's play another very strong opponent, who I believe I played before and I was completely lost. By completely lost, I mean he could have checkmated me in one move, but he did not do so. Therefore, he's gonna come back with a vengeance. I even remember that game. It was an exchange Ruy Lopez, the most exciting of openings. Do I want that again? Do I really want that? Nah. Knight f6. Now exchange Ruy Lopez for you. Vagelis Kostopoulos from the Greeks. From Greece, not the Greeks. He plays d3, the anti-Berlin, and we are headed towards Berlin Main Street, which is probably Kurfürstendamm. I've watched this TV show, German TV show called, what was it called? Kudamm 56, 54? I don't know. Didn't enjoy it all that much, but it was an interesting period piece. And I wish I knew how to handle this. Is this all normal stuff, Vagelis? Is this all in your secret database? Not so sure about bishop g4. Sometimes they go g4, knight h5 in these positions. I don't like it because it's not in line with my aesthetic preferences, but it might be the best way to handle this. However, after g4 there's bishop h4, gf, queen f3, king g7, queen g3 with a move repetition. And since I want to crush Vagelis Kostopoulos, I did not think that was an appropriate, tough word, choice. It takes, do they want to go d4? Normally black is well positioned to deal with d4s in these situations. No d4 yet. But of course it could happen later. What do I want to do? Knight h5, d4, I can take, I guess. Yeah, let's see what happens. Got to admit, it's getting better. Getting better all the time. I'm a horrible singer. But I've recently discovered a little band called the Beatles. Probably some people have heard about them before. I'm told they were quite famous. But I was somehow never a big student of them. And now I'm starting to understand why people like them. It's good stuff. Here I'm not sure at all about my decision to take on g3. Actually, I have a feeling it was a bad decision. And maybe I should have preferred to keep this knight or put it on f4 at least, make him exchange, because this improves the structure. One of my many not very well thought out theories about chess is that an h-pawn is worth less, or an a-pawn, worth less than all the other pawns, because it can only capture in one direction. Therefore, if you make it become a g-pawn, even if it's a double pawn, it's worth more now, because it can cover 2 squares instead of 1. So I believe A and H pawns should only be like 0.80. They're not a full pawn. They're more than like a half pawn, but they're not a full pawn. Yeah, this is a weird position, but I have a feeling I'm slightly worse, if anything. Nah, it's probably equal, but I'm a pessimist, so I'll call it slightly worse. Getting so much better all the time. Vagelis playing very well again. I don't like it much to get outplayed all the time. d4 unpleasant move, trying to open the position when all my pawns on the 6th rank could become a little weak. Not sure what the priority should be in such a position. King g7 makes sense, just to get out of... Queen b3 checks should I ever want to go f5 to have h6 covered, and so on and so forth. a5, also not sure about it, but with the queen on d3. Didn't want this pawn to be hanging, since I want to deploy my rook in the center. He's more of a liberal in the middle of the political spectrum. He doesn't like to be on the extreme a8 square. Knight h2, fair enough. He wants to go knight f1, knight e3, which feels like a good direction. Nothing I can do about it. Try to create some play while this knight is on his journey. Yeah, still an interesting position. Still have a feeling I might be slightly worse, but such is life. I'm slightly worse because these squares are slightly weak. Slightly weak, slightly worse. And he also has an a-pawn that is worrying me. Might be on my way to become seriously worse. Yup, we did it again. Ah, he goes rook takes. I was expecting pawn takes. Rook takes also nice positionally, but at least I have this anchor for now. Oh, he has knight c2, rook c4. Yeah, not a good game, as usual, but Vagelis is playing well. Can't really say anything. Can I take? If I can take, I shall take. I'm missing some trick here? Don't know. If not, then the last couple moves went well for me. Still not exactly winning. A lot material disappeared, but I won a pawn. So instead of being worse, I'm now better. This I have to take, unfortunately. And he's probably gonna argue that my extra pawn will not be around for a very long time. And he could be right. This, of course, is a draw, but I can make him work, and I shall. I've won many a drawish rook endgame just by being stubborn. And here I could just have won with rook f4. This is nothing to do with being stubborn. That's upsetting. I just yet didn't expect g4 because it makes no sense. That was upsetting. because I could just have won the game. Now we're in for a treat of maneuvering, as they call it, when you're moving back and forth, hoping your opponent does something dumb. Not easy at all to make progress here. Now I should do something like rook c7 to keep me busy before I get in rook d4. But he probably will. Or rook c6. Rook c7, there we go. Defending well, my dear boy. What to do? It's not the winningest of positions, unfortunately. I've not helped my chances by putting my rook in the middle of nowhere. Actually, I'm just gonna lose the h6 pawn. Yeah. Shall I be a sportsman, offer a draw? Goes against everything I stand for, but I feel like I should. Good defense by Vagelis Kostopoulos, and he certainly earned that draw. I'm very upset that after g4, I didn't even expect g4, I half pre-moved that. I did not just take the pawn. This is insane. Rook f4 is not impossible for me to find, let's say. What to do? Such is life. Earlier I did not have great position. Let's go far away from hell. Let's go to far away from hell. Has J96. BTW. Jan. By the way, that's what BTW stands for. What do you think of classical music? I don't really have an opinion. It's one of these things I've reserved for an older age, like wine. I'm gonna become a wine expert, I'm gonna start golfing, and I'll have opinions on classical music when I'm older and wiser. For now, I have zero opinion. Yeah, it sounds alright. Never listened to it. Far Away from Hell is not here. He might be far away from hell. Ah, no, there he is. But he's far away from chess 24 as well. d4, d5. This is the solid continuation. Probably to c4. That's what most people do. This good old triangle, I believe Sopiko Guramishvili did a video series on this for chess 24. Is an opening I played in the old days, trying to bluff people away from this because it's so sharp. Who wants to do this? But Far Away from Hell is not easily scared. Knight e2. Knight e2 is the move I never studied. Bishop e2, knight a6. I have some pleasant memories from the good old days, the glory days. But this I never looked at. Here they can go bishop f8 if they're feeling groovy. Well, the point is king f8, queen d8, checkmate. But there's lots of theory. Or I guess there's knight e7. Honestly though, I can't remember a single thing. I do remember that when I was checking this, and knight e2 was a full-fledged line, but less scary than bishop e2 in my opinion. Therefore I focused most of my studying efforts on bishop e2. Here, once again, if I'm not mistaken, my dear boy, knight b4 is a possible move, leading to a sharp play. But since I can't remember stuff, I'll go rook g8 instead, which at least doesn't lose this rook. The price might be that I'm worse now. That I do not know. But make moves I shall. I don't know why I'm trying to speak like Yoda. It's annoying myself even. And Far Away from Hell says in the chat, forgot everything about this line, which is encouraging to hear. I didn't know anything to begin with, but if you forgot everything, that's at least makes us even, and I'm threatening to give a check. So that's good to hear. Queen d4, I could give a check. My dear boy. Does it yield me anything though? King d2. Probably not, yeah? Can't see a way forward after king d2. But what else to do? Maybe I'm just worse. Got to admit, it's getting worse. It's getting worse all the time. Yeah, I don't know what to do. Knight d3, king d2. Probably knight c5 is bad. Probably I had to go knight f5. But yeah. Knight d3, king d2 looks really bad, right? Takes. Don't like this one bit, but I couldn't see what else to do. Far Away from Hell out-prepared me. I should study more theory. And I'm not even saying this tongue-in-cheek. I really feel like I'm not armed up to my standards in many a mainline. And I really should be. Now I'm slightly worse again. I'm always suffering against players who, in theory, should not make me suffer all the time. But they are, and it's not a coincidence. It's lack of well-playingness. That is the correct term. And also, I steam very easily. Oh boy. Okay, focus. I want to win this game. Mr. Hellboy. My dear Hellboy. He can take, then rook gf8 he can take here, and rook df8 he can go knight e5, targeting this bishop. When rook f2, he has knight d7 check, king c7, knight c5. Line continues a bit, but does not end well for me. Instead he does believe me, which is nice, goes f4, which allows me back in the game. Why do I start steaming so easily? I always do. I shouldn't pretend this is a new phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon. But now I'm very focused, as you can see by my focus look. I will crush Far Away from Hell with all this intense focus level. I won't say anything, but that is secondary. Now I have a nice horse. I didn't like rook f1. I think he should have taken on d4. See, that's this focus level. What focus? Far Away from Hell is texting me here. Okay, thanks for the game, that's why. It takes a bit of time. Yeah, good opening. Once again, my lack of expertise showed as in many a sharp line, and that is a worrying signal. When I was a young man, I would just know stuff here. I do know that night before, I probably have a file on things like this, but I can't remember details. Knight d3, king d2, and something. And rook g8, bishop c3. Was probably also in some file here. I guess I have to play knight f5, but don't quote me on that. Look it up yourself. Thanks for the game. What time is it? We're getting closer to the finish line, because I'm hungry. Oh, another very strong... Oh no, he's not premium. I'm so sorry. Only premium players. But I can't abort this off screen. Sorry. I'm not allowed to play non-premiums, as we all know. Sorry, Mr. Instead, I shall play Jordi Solis, who is premium. Keeping the lights on here. I need a new metaphor, even though they are literally keeping the lights on. It's like 5 lights burning here, keeping me well lit, so you can see all these. You can see this spot. d4, g6. c4, bishop here. Knight c3, this is sort of the only thing you hope for by playing this move early, because now after c5, d5, this was bishop takes c3, bc, f5. Which is probably not great, but an interesting position. Well, after knight f3, this is not your typical Marocci. Okay, back to talking. Because here, white doesn't have his pawn on e4 yet, so it's not convenient for him to go bishop e3. e3, you don't get the pawn to e4. And if you go knight c2, I have the option of taking on c3 at a moment of my liking. Therefore, this is a pretty decent version for black, which is one of the ideas of going for this g6, bishop g7, knight c3, c5. It's another line of my childhood. Not even so childish. When I was playing the, I believe, under 16 European Championship, this was probably my main weapon, if we can call it a weapon. However, I've matured. g3, bishop g2. Maybe I should have punished g3 by going d5 instantly. g3 normally doesn't mix so well with e3. But it's a very sensible diagonal for the bishop, nonetheless. Wondering if I can go knight e5, but I don't see a great follow-up after b3. So what else does that allow? Leave us with d6. Let's sacrifice a pawn, see if he wants it. I have a feeling he doesn't want it. Knight c6, bc, bishop c6, bishop g4 or something. Or maybe even bishop h3. Looks like fair counterplay. Go here anyway, just see if he wants to go f3, block his bishop, or not. Bishop d7 followed by rook c8 looked perfectly acceptable as well. Not so sure about knight a5, but it was tempting to do. And as usual, very hard to resist the temptations. Papa was a rolling stone. I'm not even trying to do punchlines anymore, just say stuff that enters my head. The Temptations, oh yeah, that's a band that had a song called Papa Was a Rolling Stone. That was then covered by George Michael. And I learned all these things today. True story. Got to admit, it's getting better. This queen, it's weirdly placed, but it annoys me too. It's probably a nuisance. Another word I learned, but not today. For both of us. Maybe I'm not in good shape here. I'd like to play knight d7, and then this bishop looks dumb here. Yeah, don't know what to do. The usual. e5 is too bad positionally. Hard to come up with a move here. I forced him to make useful moves, and it's hard to get to this queen, surprisingly. Okay, 8, bishop f8, d5. Sort of a long-term operation. It's getting better all the time. See? After long thought, I want to go queen d7, dropping this knight on a5. This is the Grandmaster chess you're getting on this program. You know what? I'll go here, in spite of it being a little rude. Tell my friend on g4. Couldn't think of any other move. Now I'm probably worse. I have these double pawns, and he has the two bishops. But at least this Mr. Double Pawn does control some central squares, like d5. Well, that's pretty much the central square it controls. So the situation might not be hopeless yet, but it's not exactly what my chess dreams are made of. I'll try my hardest not to blunder this knight on a5, as I did earlier. Oh, Mr. Ambitious Pawn is back, and watch the night off. Not the chess opening. Ambitious Pawn, like yours truly, does not study chess openings. But the TV, the HBO miniseries, 8 episodes, I thought it was good. Enjoyed it. Well, enjoyed is probably not the right word, but I binged it. Binge is probably also not the right word, because I watched it when they were coming out, so I didn't binge it. But I thought it was a good show. Can I finally win this queen somehow? I deserve winning some material for all my efforts. Just as a little, as a little reward. A little nash, a little taste. But no material for me. Okay, then it's more pointlessly moving around until Jordi Solis probably, who I do outrate, drops some material, because that's pretty much what I'm playing for. You might have noticed by now, if you don't drop material, there's very limited options I have for beating you. But if you do drop material, I will often take it and then use that extra material to win the game. That's pretty much the game plan. Secrets of Grandmaster Chess by Jan Gustafsson. Take stuff if they drop it, and then you might win. If they don't give you stuff, much harder to win. Got to admit. And if you sing during your programs, it's not going to help like creating an audience, but it's going to irritate opponents that you might play later on and put them on so much tilt that you might have an easier time winning the game. That's about the secrets. Then it used to include studying some theory. Back in the day, okay, this would be too much even for me. If there is checkmate, go for it. Here after, let's say b7 or ba7, there would be mate. With rook e2 check, king f1, knight takes g3, checkmate. Of course, rook b2, stopping this pawn, would not be terrible either. But checkmate does end the game. And why not end the game? What are we discussing in the chat? Let's take a little break from playing and read the chat, because everybody enjoys when I do that greatly. Criminal justice stuff is normally not great, but it has John Turturro. We're discussing the Night of. Yeah, it's good stuff. Good to see even James blundering notionally. Nah, I'm blundering all the time. It's getting a little upsetting. A chosen, all really well done. I guess we're still taking the Night of. Yeah, it's good stuff. What else do you guys need? If I tell you it's good stuff, do you need a description? Oh, it's a miniseries, 8 episodes, breakout star. What's his name? I don't even know his name. It has John Turturro. There's a little too much stuff about John Turturro and his feet. But there's a lot of great scenes, like when Officer Box, my favorite, is walking through the streets of New York. He's leaving that bar. You're wondering, what is he thinking? What is John Turturro thinking when he gets humiliated again with his feet when he's walking through Chinatown? He buys these wonder drugs. That's more interesting to me than the mystery or the criticism of the justice system. But I did make a little note to self. Don't end up on Rikers, whatever it's called. And it does have Omar from The Wire, or Michael, what's his name? Michael K. Williams? I think that's his name. Very good role. And I'm still reading the chat. Here's some discussions of some old games. Jan, what is a good opening line to chat up a girl? I believe the Najdorf is an excellent opening line. Not only to chat up a girl, but also to play consistently. Because it can be, it's been favored by world champions Kasparov and Fischer. It can be confused with an HBO miniseries because they're pronounced similarly. And else, I've been told, like most chess grandmasters, chatting up girls not really my area of expertise, but I've been told that hello is one of the most powerful pickup lines out there. So you should try that hello thing. Let's play somebody else before this show gets off the rails, because it does follow a very strict structure normally. Last game. See, there's the structure. Who? Sorry. Who shall we play in this last game? So hard to decide. I don't want to play favorites. I love all of you equally. Probably a lie. So let's click randomly. I'll look away. See? Looking away, clicking, but I might not have hit a name. Did I hit a name? Oh yeah, I hit somebody. And it is Mr. Sodoniasty. Sounds a little dirty, that name. What is it? Is Sododynasty? Sodoniasty? What does that mean? Fill me in. Goes d4. Have I complained that I'm black every game today? Probably not, because it's not true, but feels like it. I'm also running out of openings to play here. What about 2b6? I've played this move in a tournament game against an international master. Did not enjoy the experience all that much. Don't recommend it, but it's better than it looks. That's probably the main thing. The move 2b6 has going for itself. If f3, you want to go d5 and make it some sort of weirdo, bizarro Grunfeld. Best way I can do is probably a move like queen c2. Well, after knight f3, e6, we're transposing back to normal-ish openings. And after g3, most moves would transpose to some standard queen's Indian here. But I do have this extra option, which might not be good, but at least it spices up things a little bit, of giving up my bishop for a horse. Now I'll try to put my pawns on light squares, because we're missing a light square bishop. So I've been taught, if you're missing a light square bishop, put your pawns on light squares. That's what Capablanca did. He gave up one bishop, then put his pawns on the color of that bishop, so you know where your pawns are. Then you have squares to put your other bishop on. I have to be a little careful with potential weaknesses on my queen side, but not too careful, I believe. Knight fd7 might look artificial, probably because it is artificial, but I wanted to keep the other knight to cover the c6 square. My plan in the not so distant future involves going a6, b5, similar to the game I've played today with white actually. So this might look familiar, reclaiming these light squares over there. The distant future, the year 2000. Knight b5 could ask some serious questions. My plan, let me think if this plan works at all, was to go b5, and if knight takes b5, knight b6. Yeah, looks like it should more or less work. Knight b6 does cover the rook on a8 and prepares me to go a b5 next move. So let's hope for so dynasty that he's seen that one coming and didn't blunder a piece. Not impossible, because he does have queen b3, ab, bishop c7, which might actually be good for him. So unfortunate. I don't know, getting crushed here. Again and again and again. Yep. Nothing I can do. Pawn down for no compensation. Okay, focus. Once again, switching on intense focus mode. Let's focus all. Nope, must get pieces out. Yeah. It's not fun. Not a lot to do for these pieces. Normally you don't want to exchange queens when material down and suffering in a horrible position. But I just did not see a bright future for this queen on e8. I'm not sure. I understand people probably don't mind me suffering and whining, but I think they do mind, or I would mind, me playing so terribly. How can I fix that? If there's a problem that we can't fix. Am I getting tricked left and right again? Also, why is So Dynasty world champion of chess? That's another question that deserves answering. Yeah, to blitz out these rook e8, bishop b5 things, impressive. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this game. Feeling weird. But if opponent is too strong, I can't go wrong? No, I must go wrong. I believe that's more like it. Takes. Nah, nothing to do. I'm gonna lose the last game. That's gonna put me in a foul mood. Okay, what to do? I won't resign, ever. Try to stick around, but of course, Resistance is pretty much futile from here on. G4, rub it in. Nah, no need. No, check and check. That's a problem. At least he thought about it. Perfection! Boom! Nice game, so Dynasty. And that ends today's proceeding. Yeah, I was just outclassed in that game, absolutely nothing to do. That brings us to the end of today's show. I'll go home and pack some more boxes for my impending big move to the suburbs, where I'll be a suburban dad. Things be changing. Thank you guys for watching. Let's do the I'm sorry thing. Then again, I'm not that sorry. I believe that's the problem. I'm not even sorry for stuff anymore. I'm sorry to myself for losing the last game. Very sorry for not getting a haircut. Very sorry for always being so tired. Not even the looking so tired, but actually being so tired. That's the problem here. Very sorry for not getting to play everybody. Very sorry that not all you guys are premium. Very sorry about that last game. Very sorry about my cell phone ringing. Shall we answer it? Nah. Nah, I can call back. I will call back. Very sorry about that noise. Whoa, I thought I switched it off, but then it started ringing even louder. Whoa. Let's check Twitter and apologize for Twitter stuff. I haven't tweeted for a while. I'm sorry about that. Got to admit, it's getting better. Mitteilungen. Nah, not much going on Twitter. No, sorry for not much action on Twitter. Sorry for this end of the show. I should stop ending every show apologizing. I should go home, pack boxes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sure there's more action coming up on Chess24 and all over the place. If you haven't seen them yet, I think you have, but if you haven't, check out Peter Svidler's videos. This is a video series I'm very happy about. World-class Grandmaster Peter Svidler filming a post-mortem video directly after his game in a major tournament in the Russian Championship. So you wanna check that out. Peter doing more stuff from on the road. He got a decent mic, decent webcam now. So very happy to see that show. Check it out. I'll see you guys soon. Good night. Bye. I should be like a news anchor and now like talk to some fake producer or go through some notes, but I get nothing. Later, traders. Thanks for watching, dear boys.